Hi, my name is Annie, and welcome to the Walking Word, where we go through the Bible in a year. For us to finish the Bible in a year, we need to read a minimum of 5 chapters a day, and we're doing this together as part of discipleship. Today, we're reading Genesis chapter 30. Okay. When Rachel saw that the when Rachel so that she had failed to bear children to Jacob, she became envious of her older sister. She said to Jacob, "Give me children, or I shall die." In anger, Jacob retorted, "Can I take the place of God, who has denied you the fruit of the womb?" She replied, "Here is my maidservant Bilhah. Have intercourse with her, and let her give birth on my knees, so that I too may have offspring, at least through her." Does this sound familiar? Something Sarah did with Abraham when she was almost giving up and gave out her maidservant Hagar. Sounds familiar? Okay. So she gave him her maidservant Bilhah as a consort or as a concubine, a second wife or something. And Jacob had intercourse with her. When Bilhah conceived and bore a son, Rachel said, "God has vindicated me. Indeed, he has heed my plea and has given me a son." Therefore, she named him Dan. Uh-huh. Dan is God has vindicated me. The meaning of the name Dan. God has vindicated me. Okay. Rachel's maidservant Bilhah conceived again and bore a second son. And Rachel said, I engaged in a fateful struggle with my sister, and I prevailed. So she was competing with her sister, basically, to have children. And she prevailed. So she named him Naphtali. Naphtali, which means wrestling, or I have wrestled. Interesting. When Leah saw that she had ceased to bear children, so at this time, Leah has had 4 or 5 sons, and she's like, "Okay, I need a break now." When Leah saw that she had ceased to bear children, she gave her maidservant Zilpah to Jacob as a consort, as a concubine, as a secondary wife. So Jacob had intercourse with Zilpah, and she conceived and bore a son. Leah then said, "What good luck!" So the name, so she named him Gad, and Gad just means good luck. Then Leah's maidservant Zilpah bore a second son to Jacob, and Leah said, "What good fortune!" Meaning, what women call me fortunate. So she named him Asher. So Asher means fortunate. They call me fortunate. Um, and as we continue looking at these names of the 12 sons of Israel, of Jacob, we then see that names actually have power because these names will play out later. And you'll see how they play out. But yes, it's important to name children, especially powerful names. And anytime someone calls you out of the name, disclaim it, break it down so that it doesn't have rooting in you. Let's continue. Verse 14. One day during the wheat harvest, when Reuben was out in the field, he came upon some mandrakes, which he had brought home to his mother Leah. Rachel asked Leah, "Please let me have some of your mandrakes." Leah replied, "Was it not enough for you to take away my husband, that you now must take my son's mandrakes too?" "Very well then," Rachel answered. "In exchange for your son's mandrakes, Jacob can lie with you tonight." I know you have deep feelings for the guy, and you know he loves me. I'll do you a favor. Give me some mandrakes. hmm You can have my husband for the night, the one who loves me. You can have him for the night. So mandrakes is like a herb. It's a root, that grows on that side of the world. Okay, that evening when Jacob came home from the fields, Leah went out to meet him. You are, and now Leah is commanding basically attention and validation. Leah went out to meet him. You are now to come in with me, she told him, because I have paid for you with my son's mandrakes. So that night, he slept with her. Can you imagine having to pay for a night with your husband? Interesting. So that night he slept with her, and God heard her prayer. She conceived and bore a fifth son to Jacob. Leah then said, God has given me my reward for having let my husband have my maidservant. So she named him Issachar. Leah conceived again and bore a sixth son to Jacob. And she said, God has brought me a precious gift. This time my husband will offer me presents, now that I have borne him six sons. So she named him Zebulun. Finally, she gave birth to a daughter, and she named her Dinah. Then God remembered Rachel, the one who's loved. He heard her prayer and made her fruitful. She conceived and bore a son, and she said, God has removed my disgrace. So she named him Joseph, meaning, may the Lord add another son to this one for me. Aha. So this is the time she finally bears a son. So Jacob outwits Laban. After Rachel had given birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, give me leave to go to my homeland. Let me have my wives to whom I served you, and my children too, that I may depart. You know very well the service that I have rendered you. Laban answered me, if you will please, I have learned through divination that it is because of you that God has blessed me. So we know that Laban was into some form of witchcraft. And that's how he knew the only reason why he kept on being blessed is because Jacob was still in his household. And that's why, in some situations, people do not want to let you go. And it might look like they don't want you to grow. And it's because they know their blessing sits with you. So he continued, state what wages you want from me, and I will pay them. Jacob replied, you know what work I did for you and how well your livestock fared under my care. The little you had before I came has grown into very much. Since the Lord's blessing came upon you in my company. Therefore, I should now do something for my own household as well. What should I pay you? Laban asked. Jacob answered, you do not have to pay me anything outright. I will again pasture and tend to your flock. If you do this one thing for me, go through your whole flock today and remove from it every dark animal among the sheep, every spotted and speckled one among the goats. Only such animals shall be my wages. In the future, whenever you check on these wages of mine, lest my honesty testify against me, any animal in my possession that is not a speckled or spotted one or a dark sheep got there by theft. Very well, agreed Laban. Let it be as you say. Okay. That same day, Laban removed the streaked and spotted he goats and all the speckled and spotted she goats, all those with some white on them, as well as the fully dark colored sheep. These he left in charge of his sons. Then he put a 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob, while Jacob continued to pasture the rest of Laban's flock. Jacob, however, got some fresh shoots of popular almond and plane trees, and he made white stripes in in them by peeling off the bark down to the white core of the shoots. Then the that he had rods that he had peeled, he then set upright in the watering troughs, so they would be in front of the animals that drank from the troughs. When the animals were in heat as they came to drink, the goats mated by the rods, so that they brought forth streaked, speckled, and spotted kids. So Jacob is playing Laban at his own game. Okay. The sheep, on the other hand, Jacob kept apart, and he set these animals to face the strict and fully colored animals of Laban. Thus he produced special flocks of his own, which he did not put with Laban's flock. Moreover, whenever the hardier animals were in heat, Jacob would set the rods in the troughs in full view of these animals, so that they mated by the rods. But with the weaker animals, he would not put the rods there. So the feeble animals would go to Laban, but the sturdy ones to Jacob. Thus the man grew increasingly prosperous, and he came to own not only large flocks, but also male and female servants and camels. We'll continue chapter 31 in the next one.